Did you hear the rumor that President Thomas Jefferson had multiple children with a black woman named Sally Hemmings? Well, this woman says it's not a rumor. She knows for a fact that it's true because she's a descendant of that relationship.
I'm Anna Rebecca, and I am a direct living descendant of Sally Hemmings.
Hey, Anna. Thanks for joining me today. I'm sure everybody wants to meet you.
Thank you, T. Erica. I appreciate you having me today. I am doing amazing. And yes, I am a living descendant of Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson. They are my 9th generation grandparents.
How did you discover that you were a part of this scandalous part of history?
Well, actually, it's a legacy of my family, and I grew up knowing this my whole life. But it wasn't until my mom's mother passed away and they received her will that I learned that I had inherited the role of family historian. And it came with this book here that I have called the Woodson Family Source Book.
What's in the book?
What's in the book is my family history all the way from when Sally Hemings came here on the ship with her mother and father. And then she came into possession of Thomas Jefferson, had his children, all the way up to today. So it's census records, photographs, our greatest accomplishments, burial, baptismal, wedding certificates. All of that stuff is in this book, even written oral history from some of our oldest living relatives.
Are you really saying that you know for sure that you're a descendant of the President Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, a woman he enslaved?
I can say without a doubt, 100%, if you go on Ancestry.com and you type in Anna Rebecca Lankford, I've come up on the family tree.
Which one of Sally's children are you a descendant of?
I am a direct descendant through Thomas Woodson, which would have been their oldest child.
You know, Anna, a lot of people doubt that this relationship even happened. And those who don't doubt say that it was wrong. What does your family think about the perception of the legacy that you're living right now?
I mean, when you have to look at the facts, at the end of the day, Sally Hemings was an enslaved woman. She was his property. So it doesn't matter how you look at it. She was his property. She died his property. And when he died, his children were not free either. They had to buy their way out of slavery and free themselves and their children. So at the end of the day, I know that there's a horrible history behind it. Like, we understand that, yes, he was a pedophile, and we understand that she was underage and all kind of stuff, and she had a rough life, and so it's not, my family's pride is not to exalt Thomas Jefferson and what he did. It's about the fact that today I'm Sally's dream. I'm the dream that she had for her children, for her future. And so it's really important for me to be able to tell about our legacy and our lineage, because especially nowadays when they're hiding Black history, they're taking our history out of the school. You know, they're outlawing our history and the truth of where we come from. So it's really important for me to keep these facts alive.
Even with all the history that you have recorded, there are some people who say Thomas Woodson did not exist. It's just a fictional story. Well, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, the most interesting thing about it is that Thomas Woodson was the only child that was sent away from Monticello. And so that's why our lineage is in question. But at the end of the day, I know that he really existed because I'm here.
Do you ever deal with backlash from people who say you shouldn't be proud to be a descendant of Sally Hemings?
In my experience, when I'm posting online and I'm talking about my family's history, I do get under fire. People do come and they attack me and they say, like, how dare you talk about your history? How dare you be proud of that, you know, of the past? But at the end of the day, we all come from somewhere. And regardless of if it's a good past or bad, we should all be proud of who we are. When Thomas Woodson was younger, he was a little unruly, and honestly, the people around Monticello were trying to get rid of him, like kill him. And so they sent him off to live on a neighboring farm nearby, which was actually the cousin to Thomas Jefferson's wife. But when he went on this farm, he still went there as an enslaved person, and he was raised with the Woodson slaves. And so he had some land on theirs because I think his father was sending money for him to be cared for. So as he grew up, he ended up taking one of the daughters as a wife. And they were on the land, but the land that they had there on the Woodson farm had coal on it. And so he was able to sell that coal to this company called the Jackson Coal and Iron Company. And he sold the parcels for $1,600, like 80 acres of land. And they used that money to buy their freedom. And then they moved to Ohio and became the first free coloreds on the state census in Ohio.
So they sent your ancestor, Thomas Woodson, away from the plantation to be raised by himself. Then he ended up buying his own freedom and moving to another state to start a legacy as a free Black person. It's looking like that may not have been such a bad thing for him not to be raised with the others.
It's just really interesting just to know the lengths at which they had gone through so that we could be here today. And then like even half of their children, they live passing as white people. And so if you look at these photos that I'm going to send you of their grandchildren, so the thing that gets me is like, so when Sally came here, her father came from Wales. He was a white man. He was a ship captain. Her mother was a ship wench, but she was half white and half African. So Sally was actually just a quarter African. So she looked more like me. But when you look at images of her in history, they always draw her very dark skin and stuff like that. But when you actually look at these photos of their grandchildren, they look like white people. Some of them have Negroid features, but for the most part, half of them passed off as white people and lived their lives white, and then the other half lived their lives as Black people.
Well, thank you, Anna, for giving us proof that living history actually exists.